Welcome back. Joe Knight here. We're going to talk about The Running Man.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
That's a really good segue. Why don't we talk about the original?
Showtime!
It was terrible when it came out, and it's aged horribly.
Yeah.
I watched it again before I went to go see this one this morning. It's really bad.
Yeah. I think they didn't have any language for like how to show like a dystopian reality television show, because that wasn't a thing.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
I'll buy that for $1.
RoboCop came out the same year.
Exactly. But this
which
is...
did.
These are the American Gladiators.
It's very much like American Gladiator.
I was wondering if American Gladiators was inspired by that movie.
Yeah, they just focus on certain things. Schwarzenegger's good, but they completely cut out his backstory.
I'm not sure if I agree with you that Schwarzenegger's good in it.
Killian, I'll be back.
Only in a rerun.
Go!
Richard
Dawson was a game show host of our youth.
Best known at that time, well, probably still now, as being the host of Family Feud. I always picture Richard Dawson just smelling of like cigarettes, like whiskey and cheap cologne.
And he kind of leans into it. He is, in that version, he is like...
Well, he's the villain.
And I think it was kind of shocking, 87.
87 version does not do a good job of establishing this dystopian world.
Yeah.
We'll get into the remake, but there's a definite clear delineation between the haves and the have-nots, which makes way more sense. Yeah, the 87 version is also, I want to say, extremely 80s.
Yeah.
Down to the music, which was by Harold Faltermeyer, who did Beverly Hills Cop just a few years. And so there's some of that, some of those riffs are pretty similar. And we should also mention that the original was directed by Paul Michael Glaser, who was Starsky or Hutch?
Starsky.
Okay. All right. I can never remember who is who. You've read the book. Written by Stephen King under the Richard Bachman pseudonym, right? I've not read it. I admittly am not a Stephen King fan. I've read like 2 of his books, and I feel like he comes up with good ideas, but he's too self-indulgent.
I think Stephen King gets a bad rap. I think he's really good at plotting, and not everyone, but I think he's really good at characterization. I don't think Stephen King was happy with the version, even though he wrote this initially under Richard Bachman. The novel itself kind of reminds me of like a pulp novel from the 50s. It's relentlessly...
Kind of like a Heinlein.
Relentlessly paced, more kind of, I would say, more hard-boiled, like a...
Mickey Spillane.
Mickey Spillane, but with thought. Mickey Spillane never thought.
Yeah, right. He was just blunt.
Welcome to The Running Man!
Should we just get into the remake? Yeah. So we're not going to get too deep into this one.
We don't want to spoil endings.
Yeah, we'll avoid spoilers. You told me when we were leaving the theater that this sticks pretty close to the book.
And I don't want to mention too much the ending of the book, but the book, and I understand why Edgar Wright had to ask for permission from Stephen King to tweak it. Post 9/11 ending, you just can't really have how the novel ends. Although it added more time that it didn't necessarily need.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to say right off the bat, this movie's too long.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Edgar Wright.
He directed some things for television that ended up with Spaced.
If you haven't seen Spaced, it's a British comedy series. It only ran for 2 seasons, but it's great.
You've got an answer for everything.
I can't believe you just said that.
Neither can I.
It's kind of like, I would say, the Rosetta Stone for kind of Gen X in a lot of ways.
Community came later in the 2000s, something like
2009, 2010, something like that.
I think a lot of its influences from Spaced.
Yeah, most definitely. He started off with Shaun of the Dead.
So he wrote Shaun of the Dead with Nick Frost and Sam Pegg.
And it's a brilliant kind of imagining a zombie movie kind of mashed up with the kind of a rom-com. Yeah. So as they pitched it as a zombie rom-com.
But it works as a horror on a horror level too.
No.
At times.
Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah?
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
But then they followed that up with it's in my top 10 comedies of all time, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. I just think that is like note for note a great comedy.
We will be forced to use other means of persuasion.
Now, please.
Their third film in that is The World's End, which I really like a lot. It's not as strong as the other two, but it's still a really good film.
I like it. Well, I think before The World's End, he did Scott Pilgrim.
I'm indifferent too.
I like it.
A lot of people love that movie.
I think video gamers love it.
I'm also not a fan of anime,
but it's enjoyable, and I think music is used well in that.
Well, that's another one of his strong suits is he knows how to use music. He's like Tarantino in that aspect.
What is it you do?
I'm a driver.
Then he started taking like long breaks in between like World's End and Baby Driver is like 4 years.
But
right?
Baby Driver was a serious step up. That was like with a major studio shot in the States with
and
a
he wants
major
to like
cast.
prove his action.
And the action is like relentless in that film. There's some lulls in it, but like it's a great film.
It's on par with like,
I mean, you have
Vanishing Point and other like car action films.
You may have to kind of like do this a little bit when you're watching Kevin Spacey in some scenes.
I forgot he's that's right.
It clouds it.
And then he did Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, which is a great film. And we've mentioned it when we did The Limey.
Terrence Stamp's last film.
Terrence Stamp's last film.
Diana Rigg's last film.
Yeah, and Diana Rigg. Oh, God. Rest in peace. Another.
Two icons.
Yeah, that was a great film. I don't think this is necessarily a great film, but like.
I think the script is serviceable.
Yeah.
And it's held together by his like action directing skills.
Yes, exactly.
I think everyone in the cast is pretty good.
Yeah.
Starting with Glenn Powell, who's now the Legacy reboot sequel guy. He was in Top Gun Maverick, which I haven't seen. He was also in Twisters.
Yeah, and don't forget Chad Powers. I don't know. He's in the Manning brothers orbit now. Eli Manning, he's like, I'm too busy to do Chad Powers myself. So, Glenn, you're going to have to do it. Okay.
Why did the Manning brothers get to do 4,000 commercials? I don't get it. Peyton has some modicum of a personality, but Eli has zero charisma. He's a charisma vacuum. Sidebar rant.
I got your joke right here.
Did he just call it a joke?
That's what he implied.
He was in a really good Richard Linklater quasi follow-up to Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
Everybody wants
with the baseball team at a university.
And that's a really good unrated movie.
Yeah.
You have what it takes to win this game.
Josh Brolin as
he's the head of the network.
Yeah.
He's basically the Richard Dawson character. Josh Brolin's really busy lately.
Yeah.
He's in Weapons, which came out a few months ago.
And Coleman Domingo as the host is really good.
Yeah.
It's all showbiz for the most part.
He doesn't go any deeper than that. What this movie does really well is it's more of a sister in tone, in a satirical tone to RoboCop. So the original film failed at that.
Yeah.
Like it needed like a Paul Verhoeven's wit.
And I think
wit
they're just like the TV promos or the shows that they cut into that are just hilarious.
There's one show that they keep cutting to.
It's
really funny.
It's a very kind of Kardashian-esque Real Wives of the Potomac or Flint, Michigan, something like that.
When the hostage situation is set up, I thought those two shows were going to collide, and I thought that would have been better.
Yeah. Amelia Jones plays the hostage. I thought she was good.
No, the tone of those clips are so funny. I would have liked to have seen more of that.
Yeah.
I think.
I know. Because I think I was laughing nonstop through any kind of promo things, or even not so much that show, even the talking about little backstories to the actual show itself, and then watching the counter narrative from the underground coming up.
Right.
They're kind of mirroring the graphics, definitely, but it's so cheeky what they're doing.
Yeah, that was clever. No, this movie has a definite satirical tone that the original lacks.
Yeah.
Severely lacks. I just wish it was a stronger presence in the film.
Yeah.
Don't you get it? This game is rigged.
Guess we'll find out.
Besides like some technology things, like a sweet stealth bomber that's now like a passenger jet. It's really not that different from our current situation.
And look, well, you've got the TV, and you've also got like we're in the late stages of capitalism.
And like where only like the wealthy can really pay for healthcare.
We haven't gotten to that point yet, but it feels like it, especially what you're seeing on the news, especially with a lot of people potentially being kicked off.
Benefits. Yeah. Is that in the original book?
Yeah, a lot of that was, but that wasn't in the Schwarzenegger. And I'm glad that they put it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like the original did a shit job of establishing like the world building that it takes place in. And there's a clear divide between the the rich and the poor, and they have to go through like a security barrier actually to go into like the city.
Yeah.
And there's cameras everywhere. These little like Star Wars type round drones that fly everywhere, and they're filming everything.
And it's funny too, like I'm not going to get into the end, but like just seeing how they framed the whole show one way. This is what Ben Richards is actually what he's saying, which may not actually be true based on the deep fakes that they're creating.
Does everybody buy this?
Yeah,
like, is the underground, like, who is the, like, it didn't really do a good job of establishing this underground.
Yeah.
You see kind of
the novel does a better part of that. I do think it just kind of sets up that there are people looking at the media in a different way, and they're looking at environmental factors.
I would have liked to have seen more of that.
Yeah.
Like, are these people like they don't buy like the shit that the network is selling them?
Hunt him
down! The movie had really good set pieces. I think the plot was meandering and confusing at times.
Yeah.
You probably followed it better than I did because you've read the book. I also didn't understand like the structure of the Running Man show itself.
Yeah.
Like, when are people watching this? Like,
I
are
think
they watching it constantly?
I know.
You don't really find out until the end, like, oh, they're saving certain things for the airtime.
Well,
I think they should have established that.
Well, the thing is, like, they talk about, in the novel, they talk about, like, if you do not send one of these videotapes every day at this time, or you will not get money.
It was part of the expedition.
And I think they should have added a little bit more, because I think when he goes to Michael Cera's, like, we're going to pre-record a bunch of these.
That makes sense. That needed to come
but
earlier.
they needed to kind of explain it better.
I didn't understand too, because I was so thinking of the original Schwarzenegger film, but like I didn't understand the structure of it. Like, where's he? He's not. They're not really running. I guess they're running from hunters.
I know it's geographically, it's spread out just like the novel itself.
Like the beginning of the game show in the remake, like copies the original, where like they go down these tubes like far underground for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I do think it's a nod, like the tubes.
Made
it has
no
to
sense.
be. Yeah,
and then he just goes back up to the street, and it was like that has to have just been just a nod to the original. Some of the editing was a little too much, I thought, because that scene where he takes the hostage, and he's with her in her car, running from the hunters' vehicles, and the editing was so bad. I had no idea where anyone was in the freeway or in relation to anything else in the geography of the scene. It was so confusing.
I do think the editing just seemed a bit jarring in some.
I did, yeah. It has a lot of good set pieces. It's like the YVA hotel sequence, but some of the cutting is just so fast paced. You can't tell like what is happening or where everybody is in relationship to each other.
The pacing is so relentless after he kind of goes into the network building. Yeah, and so from a standpoint, that's got to be hard to kind of maintain. That's almost like 120 minutes of just pure
cutting.
Yeah.
If it's just rapid fire editing so much after a while, my brain kind of
exactly. They may have, especially with the quick cuts, maybe that may have been a nod to some of the kind of reality TV that they're mimicking and mirroring. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. But like there was a lot of things that seeped in outside of the actual things that they're portraying on the actual television frame. I'm not seeing this through the visual lens of a TV, but this feels like the contrivance of like TV.
The image is being manipulated for our benefit or to manipulate us as an audience member at the same time.
This is not a Baby Driver. This is not Last
Baby
Night.
Driver is a stronger film.
I think in terms of his most recent, or Last Night in Soho.
I kind of wish Edgar Wright would get back to comedy, just straight comedy.
Yeah, true.
Hook up with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again. I like his comedic sensibilities, and this movie needed more of that.
What type of genre do you want him to do next?
I mean, I guess you can say this is sci-fi. So he's now done sci-fi. Last Night in Soho, like we said, is a mixture of genres.
Yeah.
Baby Driver's an action film. Scott Pilgrim, that's a mixture of anime.
It's anime and a bit of kind of like...
It's all over the map.
Yeah, it feels like an aha video come to life in some ways.
Yeah, not aha Alan Partridge.
They're all saying it. Hey, yeah, all right, whatever. Fucking idiot.
No, I'm not. But like aha, the Norwegian pop group. I don't know. It'd be great to see him to do a Western.
You like Westerns, I think.
I like Westerns, but I think Edgar Wright could do a good Western.
This is America, goddammit! And we don't put up with no bullshit!
This felt like a really great buffet, but like, it's not something I ordered.
Yeah, we're all out of the filet mignon.
Yeah.
Would you like this pasta primavera instead?
Hey, they've got some lobster tails in the buffet, but
I'm wondering if that's because this is like a studio IP project. Yeah. Because he's clashed with studios before. He was supposed to direct Ant-Man, and apparently he wrote the original script, right?
Yep. And he was taken off
that project, but they needed to fit into the Marvel cookie cutter mold.
In knowing that this was made by Paramount, knowing that Paramount is just
a shit show.
A shit show right now, and especially Skydance, whatever they're doing, particularly to the news division. This was kind of in the chamber with Paramount way before the merger.
Yeah,
but I think
before that happened,
I do think whatever comes down the pike in a year, 2, 3 years from Paramount, it's going to be substandard. They're not going to work with a director with kind of a unique vision like Edgar Wright, even though what actually came out in here it's compromised.
Yeah.
I think Paramount will be a shitstorm in 2-3 years. So
it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. But that's my rant. Since we started with the rant with you at the beginning,
I ranted on the Mannings. You can rant on Paramount.
Yeah.
The Running Man 2025, Joe. What do you give it?
I'm gonna say C+.
I was wondering if I was going to give it a B.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a C+.
This is not a continuum, as we said, of Last Night in Soho
this is a work for hire.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to the next film. Maybe he will work with Simon Pegg again.
That'd be great. I'd love for him to work with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
I think we need to come up with a new category for grading movies. One would be paying full price in the theater.
Is it worth doing that?
Yeah. Even IMAX. 2 would be matinee.
Yeah.
Still going to theater, making the effort.
But you're not paying like the $15, $16.
3 would be waiting for it to come out in a few weeks on streaming and paying for it.
Yeah.
4 would be waiting for it's free on streaming on whatever platform.
Yeah, which could be a few years. Or 5, watching on an airplane.
Watching it on an airplane.
Or 6.
6 would be watching on an airplane without sound.
Yeah.
Which I've done on a few times.
Yeah, I've done that.
So where does this fall?
I would put this as wait for streaming. I do
wait
think
for streaming, buying or free on streaming.
I would say both. Like if you're watching with 2 other people, I think this is definitely worth spending $20 amongst 3 people.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
If you even with 2 people, I think, and just paying whatever the $20 fee for streaming, I think it's worth it.
You've come out ahead already.
You've already come out ahead.
Yeah.
Stop filming me!
My wife went to go see Running Man today because I had told her 2 weeks ago, we're probably going to do this via Zoom to discuss Running Man so I can see it with you guys. My wife reread the book the past week or so. I just told her on Thursday, I'm like, I'm going to watch with Hale and we're going to film it. She was kind of disappointed. So she ended up going with my son and some friends.
So maybe we can do a
mea culpa. And we want to maybe have Emily patched in with her.
Let's get her review on this.
Yeah, her review.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I went to see the movie yesterday. I quite liked it. I was with my friend Amy. She said she had heard that it was better than Die Hard. I think we can all agree, not better than Die Hard. However, it was very good, very entertaining, and I liked that it was way more faithful to the book than the Arnold Schwarzenegger version. For an action movie, you want it to be all action, and so I thought that the filmmakers did a really great job with giving you these visual clues about things that were very important to the book, for example, without having too much exposition. So, for example, the rats, as you climb up the veterans hotel or the sort of YMCA type building, you're seeing the rats in the walls, gives you that sense of what type of place this is. The sort of kill the execs things written on the side of the buildings in the slums, without having to tell you exactly or have someone give a long soliloquy, right? So I thought that was all good. My biggest problem, I think it's your guys' problem too, was the ending felt a little bit tacked on. So I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody, but I felt like maybe they had a focus group or something where they had an original ending that maybe wasn't as satisfying, and so they came back and gave us a different ending. And I would have liked to have seen for lack of, again, without trying to give any more spoilers, more of a popular uprising feeling to the end of the movie. Instead, it still felt very much lone wolf. So that's my 2 cents.